Welcome to Buckets, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. My name's Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm joined by Jay Money. You can find him on Twitter and on YouTube. Jay Money is money. This is your Wednesday Best Bets episode in the National Basketball Association for December 27th. We'll give you the plays, we'll give you the breakdowns, we'll give you the best bets for tonight's games. After we had a terrific Christmas Monday. We did really well. Jay, from what I gathered on your timeline, seems like you did really well as well. You gave out Knicks as your best bet on the pod that you were unable to make with us, and that one hit. I know you did pretty well on that night. Yes.
Yeah, I had the Knicks. I was pretty heavy on the Knicks today. Had them first half, full game on the money line. So it was a real good day. Hopefully to keep it going here today.
Yeah, I did real well on that day, and then today came. I went 1-2 because I missed on the Rockets. Which guess what? Going back to the well, but we'll get to that in a second. Everything we talk about, you can catch it in the award-winning Action Network app. You want to track it. You want to track your picks. You want to follow all the great picks from others. Guess what? Football's wrapping up here in about a month, which means Brandon Anderson will be back here on Buckets, and he'll start making NBA plays. You're going to want to track Brandon Anderson in the Action Network app. You're going to want to track Joe DeLera, whose prop plays swept the board on Tuesday night. You can do all that in the Action Network app. Also, make sure to check out our YouTube page. Go to youtube.com/the Action Network, and you can catch all of our great stuff. Lots of stuff in there. You're going to find something that you want to watch and have on in the background while you're doing whatever. So make sure to check out youtube.com/the Action Network. Programming note. No futures kind of look from me this week. I am heading to Disney World with the kiddos. So I'm going to be gone on Friday's episode with Sean. He'll have a guest for you. I'll be gone on the Sunday night show. We're not going to do one for New Year's Day. So no show on New Year's. And then regular programming on Monday night into Tuesday for best bets. I'll be back on Tuesday night into Wednesday. So a little bit of programming note there. Let's get to it. Jay, what's your best bet for the Wednesday slate?
I'll take the Cleveland Cavaliers +4.
All right, bold choice. This line has moved. This one opened at Mavericks -7.5. Then Luka Doncic popped up questionable on this one, and it moved down to 4. That's obviously a halfway mark on it. We'll talk about that in a second. I have 2 plays on Wednesday. I'm going with the Houston Rockets +1.5 versus the faltering, foiling, frustrated Phoenix Suns. And I've got OKC -2.5 at home versus the New York Knicks. Let's talk about yours first here, Jay. So yeah, Luka pops up as questionable. I'm going to imagine that this is probably a halfway line. I don't know what the exact number would be on Luka to the spread. I think it's gonna be high, and it's gonna be higher than the 3.5 movement that we caught on this. Like, that's what's actually kind of nuts about this is this line moves 3.5 points on Luka being questionable, and I legitimately think that this is a halfway point. I think this is a halfway move on him. I have the spread value on Luka Doncic at 5.5 points, which is right about in line with this, right? So like it moves 3.5. It probably goes, I guess, if Luka is announced out, I would guess that this moves to Mavericks -1. Maybe it's also probably dependent on the Donovan Mitchell availability as well. Tell me why you like the spot. Give me the contingencies for Mitchell and Luka.
Yeah, I like the Cavs in this spot. First off, I think this could possibly be a letdown spot for the Mavs here. I mean, I can't say if Mitchell plays and Luka plays, they cancel each other out. If neither one of them are in, it cancels each other out as well. But the Cavs have been playing some good basketball lately, in my opinion. They're 4-1 straight up and 4-1 against the spread. 3 of those games were without Donovan Mitchell as well. And I feel like the Mavs, I think that they're a little bit of a smoke and mirrors type of team. Now, Luka, he's an MVP candidate, but the rest of the team, I feel like is a little bit like up and down in my opinion. But if you look at the spot, let's take the names off the jerseys and look at the spot that these teams are in. The Mavs are on the first leg of a back-to-back. So they were in Phoenix on Christmas. Now they come home for a home game, and then they have to fly out to Minnesota, the #1 team in the West, the next night. So you get possibly a little bit of a look-ahead factor with the Mavs facing an Eastern Conference opponent tonight and have a huge revenge spot versus a Western Conference opponent the next night. And also, you go and look at it, the Mavs have had 5 back-to-backs so far this season. They're 0-5 against the spread in the first leg of a back-to-back. So I'm thinking it's going to be 0-6 here. That's probably why we see Luka pop up as questionable here. Something tells me that they care a little bit more about the big game versus the Wolves more than this game versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I'll take the Cavs +4 to continue their good play on the road here.
Mavericks are 7-3 straight up as a home favorite, but just 5-5 against the spread. Cavaliers, meanwhile, on the road this season, 5-3 ATS as a road dog. It's an interesting matchup just from the perspective of the two bigs kind of going against, well, I guess no, not two bigs because Mobley's still out. I will say the Cavaliers are getting really good contributions from a lot of shooters. I would probably lean in this game a little bit towards the over based off of the fact that the Cavs are playing such a perimeter oriented game with Mobley and Garland out. They're not really able to get rim pressure. It's Strus and Merrill and these guys kind of attacking from the perimeter. So I kind of like the over a little bit in this spot, but I'll obviously wait to see who plays and who doesn't. I will kind of say that I do show a pretty big edge on the over here. If Luka plays, I will bet the over on this game. If Luka does not play, then it's a stay away from me. And I'm not going to look Cavs. I think it's Cavs or nothing. I think you're right at this. Like if Luka plays and it goes back to 7.5, I take that back. If Luka plays and it goes back to 7.5, I will play Cavs with you. But that's the only scenario in which I will. Like I want the 7.5. I don't want this short, and I definitely don't want this in a letdown spot. What I don't want is Donovan Mitchell plays Cavaliers on the road versus Mavs no Luka. That has all sorts of makings of shenanigans. I will say the Mavericks when Luka and Derek Lively play are fucking dynamite. They are awesome both straight up and against the spread. They have been really good in that spot. As a matter of fact, when Luka Doncic and Derek Lively both play this season, they are 17-6 straight up and 15-8 against the spread. That includes them going, however, 5-5 at home. So most of the work when they've done it has been road dogs, right? The Mavericks overperform when they have Lively. This is the spot when you do want to fade Dallas. I am with you that if I need Luka to play because I need the 7.5. Like I know this doesn't make sense where it's like, well, if you like it with Luka at 7.5, why wouldn't you like it now at 4.5? You're still getting, 4.5 more than one possession as a dog when Luka may not play. And the answer to that is I don't like betting into these spots where a major player is missing. It fucks with too much. Like the motivation factor goes way up and down. Mavericks go into let's win this one for without Luka. The Cavs have a letdown spot of like, oh, I thought we were playing Luka tonight. Oh well. Oh, now they're playing entirely differently because they don't have any of their initiators. It's just it becomes too weird of a game that we don't have any sort of sample on, and that's why I want to avoid it. But if Luka plays, I'm with you on Cavs plus 7.5.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I don't really care if he plays not. I think it's bigger on Donovan Mitchell. I mean, I'd like Luca to play here because I think the Cavs
Yeah.
have the defensive stoppers to kind of mess with their flow. And something tells me that Lively doesn't have a great of a game. We can't forget that he's still a rookie. I think Jared Allen owns him in this particular matchup.
I'll take Houston plus 1.5. This isn't just fading Phoenix. Houston loses versus the Indiana Pacers. That was a tough one. I was on the Rockets in that one as well. But Houston has been really good this season when they have been on a back-to-back. And so this to me is like a pretty good spot to go ahead and take them. They're 1-1 against the spread. That's not a huge sample and not like it's dynamite. But I like this spot a lot I just can't get to where this number is. Like this number is absolutely baffling to me. The Rockets are a 1.5 dog here at home. Why? Like what has Phoenix? You cannot be so tied to a preseason power rating that you are just like, nope, don't care. The Suns have KD and Booker, and they're a Western Conference contender. So yeah, like that team is garbage right now. And that team hasn't done anything. That team hasn't proven shit. They haven't proven anything. This isn't an argument against the Suns winning the game. They can win the game. I can be wrong. What it is, though, is it's argument against the line. The Rockets should be favored in this matchup. The Rockets are above 500. The Suns are not. The Rockets at home. The Suns are away. The Suns are without Bradley Beal. The Rockets, we'll see. I'm assuming clean bill, but we'll see if anybody sits on the back-to-back. But it's a home game on a back-to-back as well. And that's been a better spot for teams this season. This season, when at home, teams have performed way better than they have on the road on the second end of a back-to-back night. So in general, I am going to go ahead and say that this line is wrong, and I'll take the Rockets plus 1.5. Do you have a lean any side on this?
That's a tough game for me. Obviously, the Suns are better than what they've been playing. They've been playing, but they just don't really have much confidence right now. They are frustrated. They're kind of down on themselves. So it's probably one of those teams that I'll have to wait until they string a few wins. When they do get on a winning streak, I think it's going to be hard to beat them. But right now, I'm kind of off of them. I still lean Suns here. I think you need to see what's up with Dylan Brooks. Full squad for the Rockets. I mean, they don't have to travel anywhere. They definitely play more defense, but we know that the Suns, once their offense gets cooking, it's going to be hard to stop them. So I think Dylan Brooks, he went out the game in the third quarter versus the Indiana Pacers in the first leg of the back-to-back. So I think it'll be really important to see if Brooks plays in this game. If he doesn't, that's really bad for the Rockets. If he does, then that's good for them to bounce back off of their home losses. This team has been a really good home team. And like I said, I'm not sure what to say about the Suns right now.
I'll say OKC -2.5. This is mostly just the Thunder have been terrific this season. Against the spread on the second night of a back-to-back, the Thunder are 2-0. Like, that's not spectacular. It's 2 games, but they are undefeated this season on the second end of a back-to-back. I admit the spot's not great with them coming off of what is one of their best wins of the season at home versus the Wolves, right? So like a little bit of a letdown spot here. But the Knicks are at the end of a stretch here where they've been trying to figure out their way without Mitchell Robinson. Just came off that big win. That they went west and then came back east for the Christmas Day game, and now they're back in OKC. That's a weird travel spot. I don't like the matchup in particular. If you don't have a big that can dominate inside, because Chet Holmgren is an insane shot blocker, but is also not as big. If you don't have that, you're going to struggle. Now, Julius Randle may have himself a night, but I also think Chet's probably going to block him a shit ton of times. But more than anything, this is just a model play. I make this 5.8. I have Thunder -5.8 with deducting points for the back-to-back. So I can't get to anywhere else. I also will say this. For a back-to-back spot, OKC is the exact type of team where they pride themselves so much on being professional, prepared, and are so well coached that to me, this feels like a really good spot to go ahead and take them as a short favorite versus a good, not great team at home with the market adjusting for the back-to-back.
Yeah, I could see this game going either way, to be honest with you. Obviously the Thunder have been balling. This is a young and hungry team. I don't really, there's not many spots that I like to bet against the Thunder. I'll tell you that. And a lot of them is like when they're on the road, they have a really good home crowd. I mean, that place is basically packed every single night over there. It seems like he gets 32, 33, 34 points in his sleep, like every single night. It's really hard to stop them. The Knicks are coming off a huge win. I can say that I do think the Thunder are starting to get a little too rich, like in the power rank. Like some of these teams that they're laying points against. That's why I faded them versus the Lakers. And I mean, I know that they won tonight versus the Wolves, but there's not too many times. I think some of these games where they're laying points, I think that it should be a little bit closer than that, in my opinion. So I guess what I'm saying is you're starting to pay a premium with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That doesn't mean that they can't cover the spread, but I like to pick and choose the spots where I'm fading the market, fading the love of the market for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this isn't a spot. The Knicks are coming off a huge win. That was the first time beating the Bucks. It seems like forever, but they can match up well with the Thunder. This is a game that I usually watch and learn from. I do think it's a coin flip type of game.
The market's definitely starting to adjust. I think there will probably be a point where they become overrated, but right now, like,
Mhm.
especially my numbers are still got them as a 60+ win team. They're not going to be a 60+ win team, but that's how good they've played. That's how well they've played. They've been that good. So I can't really get to a spot where I think that they're overrated now. As soon as they get there, I'll be on the other side. One more before we get out of here, I just want to kind of talk about is Raptors Wizards. This one opened 240. It's down to 238.5, the total for this game. And I lean both towards the Wizards on the spread where they are 6-point dogs in this one, and I've got this 3. The Raptors are not good on the road. The Wizards being on the back-to-back is not like a spot that I really want to bet into for a side. But I will say that if you were gonna look at this game to bet, this Raptors are on 3+ days of rest. They've been off since Saturday. I get it. I still don't think that the Raptors should be laying this many points on the road. Like, I just don't think that they're good enough to lay this many points on the road. I don't care who it's against. I don't care that it's against the Wizards. And really, a lot of the numbers underneath the hood on the Wizards are like, you know what? They're not that bad. They're not winning games, but they're not like the Pistons. They're not one of these truly awful. They're not the Spurs. They're not truly awful. They're just bad. I think that's too many points, but the back-to-back, this is one where I don't want to have my money on the Wizards on a back-to-back. I will check the injury report. If everyone plays, I'm probably going to play the over here because I show a huge edge on this game. It's now 238.5 in the market as we're recording this. I've got a 246.5. So I was good at 240. I don't like playing against the steam there. That's not something that makes me feel particularly good. But my numbers, when I've got more than this much of an advantage on the spread, on the total rather, those numbers have performed well for me this season. I will probably have a small play on the over, provided the injury report looks clean. But in general, the Raptors should not be laying this many points on the road, Jay.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, man. This is a tough game. I can't lie. Initially, I was looking towards maybe backing the Raptors before I thought about it. Like, I mean, I can't be laying this amount of points with this team on the road. This is a good spot for the Raptors, in my opinion. The spread is high. Sometimes it could be high for a reason though, because I believe it was like I believe it opened up at like 5.5 or 6, and it's since get pushed up to like you're gonna start to see sevens popping up. Now we know what the Wizards usually do on a back-to-back. They'll rest Danilo Gallinari, and DeLon Wright just came back as well. They're point guard off the bench. They're probably going to arrest him as well with a back-to-back. I just feel like with some of these tanking teams, I've tried to step out there with teams like the Spurs, the Pistons, the Wizards, the Hornets. I've tried to step out there with these teams at times this year, and it's really hard to make money with these bottom feeders. They don't want to win. I mean, this team is 5-23 on the season. They have no incentive to even start winning here. If anything, they have incentive to rest guys and lose as many games as they can. So it's not too many games where I'm going to be looking towards the Wizards' way. They have been playing a lot better lately. Like they'll lose the game, but they'll keep it close. They're 2-8 straight up last 10 games, but they're 5-4-1 against the spread. So they've been playing teams close. They even could have covered versus the Magic. They end up losing the game by 8 on a 7.5 number. But I was watching that game. They actually played some good basketball. But I also saw Kuzma take a fall or do something with his ankle. He ended up staying in the game. But in this type of game, I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to rest a guy or two. So slight lean for the Raptors, but you're right. They're not a great team. They're not a great half-court offense. They're not a great team on the road. It's especially to be laying damn near 3 possessions. It's really hard for me to get there. So if I had to play it, it'd be Raptors or nothing. But I'm not. There's another team that I'm not in a rush to back whatsoever.
Wizards are this season as a home dog 2-7 straight up, 3-6 against the spread. So this just isn't the spot to bet them. Like, I think this line's wrong, but that doesn't mean that I have to bet it, right? Like, I think that that's really important when we talk about these type of things. Is you can get. I used to do this a lot where I would be like, this line's wrong, so I have to bet it. You don't have to bet it every time that the market is off. That doesn't mean that the market knows something. Maybe it does. Maybe there's some sort of information that is not out there that is being reflected in how the market has bet this game, especially with it going up, right? Maybe they know that there's going to be, the Raptors are going to be extra motivated or whatever it is. To me, it's just more an indicator of this line's wrong, but I still don't like the spot. You have to like the spot that you're betting into, even if you think that that number is wrong. I think that's like an important thing to kind of consider whenever we're talking about these type of things. All right, let's gotta wrap it up. So Jay's best bet is gonna be Cavaliers, no matter what that spread sells at. You would advise, I assume, going ahead and waiting to see what's happening with Luka either way. Like,
Yeah,
I guess here's my question. If Luka plays and it goes to 7.5, you absolutely like it. If Luka does not play and this goes to 1.5, do you still like Cavs?
well, I'd like to have Donovan Mitchell in there. That's my biggest. That's what I'm trying to see. He's been out for like 6 or 7 days. He's been out for 3 games. That's the bigger thing for me. I'm not really. Luca's an MVP candidate, but I can't say that's. I'm not really worried about that. I think this is a spot play to bet against the Mavs. I just simply think that they're looking ahead to the Timberwolves game on the second leg of the back to back. So I think there's some real strength there with these guys 0-5 against the spread on first leg of back to backs. I actually think that Luka possibly sits here, and if Luka sits, I want no part of the Mavs. So what I'm hoping for is Donovan Mitchell in and Luka out. That's what I'd like, but I'm not really worried about Luka here. It's all about Donovan Mitchell. I like the way that the Cavs have been playing. They've actually, like, it's crazy ever since Darius Garland and Mobley Mobley was announced out for 6 to 8 weeks. This team has been balling, man. Like I said, 4-1 straight up and against the spread. So I think the Cavs keep it going in this particular spot. I'll take the Cavs plus the 4 here.
If Mitchell plays and Luka doesn't, and this moves to Cavs -1, I don't think it will, but let's say it did move to Cavs -1, you'd still feel okay on it? You still good on it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the
I'm
Cavs
just
win this
trying to prep
game.
people for like if they want to wait, because I do think that we can give people the scenarios and just basically be, I do this a lot where it's like, look, if then, because I just said it, if Luka plays, I'm with you on Cavs. I don't want it if Luka doesn't play. But I think it's important. Like, do you only want Cavs if they're a dog, or you're just like straight up, I do not care. Whatever number you want to get it on, it is fine.
Yeah, I think the Cavs win this game regardless.
All right. That'll do it for best bets. You can catch Jay on tomorrow's show with Sean and AC. Hope you guys have yourselves a great week. I'll be back next week with you. Midweek, we will have shows on Wednesday, Wednesday night for Thursday, Thursday night for Friday, and Monday night for Tuesday. You can catch buckets right here. My thanks to David Payne, our producer, as well as all the guys over at Hutton Jackson and those folks putting this up on YouTube. Thanks for doing that. Check out Jay on Twitter and on YouTube. Check out his YouTube channel. He's giving out plays every day. If you want more of Jay's analysis, catch it over there on his YouTube channel. We'll see you guys again next time. Till then, let's get buckets.